This is iGuitarD2744 here today with iOSNOVA podcast number 13. Letting you guys over all the iOS news that took place this week and, of course, the iOS community. It is currently September 24th, 2011, and this is iOSNOVA podcast. So before I actually get into all the iOS news that took place this week in iOS community, it is currently September 24th, 2011. Like I said, I want to go ahead and do an update as I usually do in all my podcasts. I've decided that the updates in my podcast at the beginning of my podcast would be taking over the monthly updates that I usually do. Just have one video dedicated to an update for you guys. I'm just going to go ahead and put those in my podcast. So if you're listening right now and you've been a subscriber, the majority of you guys who do listen are subscribers, you guys will know that I have a website called iOSNOVA.com, which is obviously what this podcast is all about, covering all the news that is posted on that website. And then, of course, I have this channel, which is what you're on right now, youtube.com/iGuitarD2744. And to be honest, the way to follow up with those, the website as well as the YouTube channel, is to, for one, subscribe to the YouTube channel so you receive subscription videos in your subscription box. And for two, for iOSNOVA.com, to type in your email address and it'll alert you over an email every time I post an article, which if you're like me, you don't check every single one of your emails every single day. I check my business email every single day, but not always the support email or my personal email every single day. And in this case, it's not very convenient to stay up to date with all this stuff. Now, the reason why I'm saying it's not exactly the most convenient thing to rely on your subscription box on YouTube is because the subscription box has been so screwed up lately. I have been uploading videos, and you guys have been saying on my channel's homepage, I've seen comments saying, upload more videos. Where are your videos? You're not uploading any videos. If you follow me on Facebook and Twitter, you guys all know that YouTube has been having major subscription problems. You're subscribed to somebody and their videos don't show up until like 24 hours after their upload, or they don't show up at all. That is something that really sucks because the majority of my views depend on you guys as the subscribers who keep on coming back to my videos, which I really appreciate. After a while, like I said, it does show up in your subscription box, but it shows up at the bottom of your subscription box, which kind of sucks because the majority of you guys check the top of your subscription box. It kind of ticks me off. I think they kind of fixed it. According to my last upload, it took about a couple of hours to actually get fully published and out to your subscription boxes, but it actually did. So the majority of you guys did see the video on how to create your own application for free. Like I said, YouTube's having some problems with that, as well as their view count. Before, they keep making these brand new features on their website that aren't really needed, but the things that are actually needed, they're not working on. They're not working on the view count. Or maybe they are, but they still haven't came out with a fix for it. Their whole team's not focusing on that because right now they're changing a lot of the graphics, user interfaces, and so on for YouTube.com. They need to fix their view count, most importantly, and even more important than that, their subscription boxes, because people subscribe to people for a reason. They want to see their videos. And when you receive subscribers, you know that you're going to get some views on your videos because your subscribers are going to see them and they want to see more of your videos. And when they're not showing up in the subscription box, you simply don't get those views. You don't get that good start, and you really don't get as many views as you would. So I've been uploading videos. For some of you guys haven't even seen them at all. Keep in mind, YouTube's having subscription box problems. Now I want to go ahead and talk about the video, how to create your own application for free, which for those of you guys who did not see that for whatever reason, you guys can check it out after listening to this podcast, or you can open up a new tab, whatever you want to do. In that case, I show you guys that I have been working on an iOSNOVA podcast. Now, I did work on an iOSNOVA podcast, and I got it done. It was very simple to make. It took me about 20 minutes, to be honest. In this case, what it is it has a YouTube tab, which alerts you of all the YouTube videos. It automatically reloads, so you get immediate notification whenever I upload a new YouTube video. It also has a news tab, all the news from iOSNOVA.com, constant flow, so when I post a new article, you receive it within seconds on that news tab. It has my Twitter feed and my Facebook feed, as well as a contact us page, or tab, whatever. And within that application, you'll be able to stay up to date with, like I said, my YouTube videos, my news from iOSNOVA.com, my Twitter, and my Facebook, as well as an easier way to contact, all on this application. So it's all free. If you guys want to check it out, I built it with mobile.conduit.com, which is what I featured in that video. If you guys want to check that out, you guys can go ahead and go to my channel and view that. But it's really cool because, like I said, it has the tab YouTube, News, Twitter, Facebook, and Contact Us. And it'll be out on all platforms, and I do mean all platforms. It'll be out for the iPhone, iPod Touch, iPad. They're going to have an iPad version out in which they basically take that iPad version and they make browser versions. And, for example, on my computer right now, and the only application that's available quite yet is the browser application, and it's really cool because if you go to iOSNOVA.mobapp.at, which is available in the description below, it'll give you the option to add to browser, and it works for Internet Explorer, Firefox, Safari, or Google Chrome. And for example, right now I have it on Google Chrome. Basically, in the right-hand corner, it has a little tab, drops down there, and it'll alert you over all my new YouTube videos, all my new iOS Nova news, Twitter feed, Facebook. Contact us. It's an easier way to stay up to date with iOSNOVA.com and my YouTube channel. So it's a great tool if you would like to download that. Like I said, iOSNOVA.mobapp.at. Also, in the near future, we will be having those applications out, hopefully on the App Store for the iPhone, iPod Touch, and the iPad. I'll probably make a video about it when those applications do come out. It'll be available for Android devices as well as many other devices. It's going to be like an iOS application on Android. It's going to be pretty cool. Anyway, so just be looking for that application. If you guys want to receive updates, any of my personal tweets, any of my articles that I post are going to be alerted over Twitter. Any of my videos are posted on Twitter. Everything's posted on Twitter. I tweet about everything. I tweet about anything. You guys can check that out on my Twitter, which is available in the description below, as well as you guys can check out my Facebook page, which is GuitarDude2744. And which you guys can also check out in the description below. Please feel free to follow either one of those or maybe even both if you'd like to. Just pretty interesting. I reply to the majority of tweets and stuff like that. Anyway, let's just go ahead and move on to some of the iOS news that took place this week in iOS, in the iOS community. And it's currently September 24th, like I said. Let's just get straight to the news. Alright, so I think the majority of you guys have probably heard of something called Migrate Fest. If you do stay up with Jailbreak and overall the iOS community and stuff like that, you guys probably have heard of Migrate Fest. But recently they kind of switched over and called it Jailbreak Con. And Jailbreak Con, it pretty much explains it. It is just a place where a whole bunch of jailbreakers and a whole bunch of iOS developers, theme developers, hackers, whatever you do in the jailbreak community or overall in the iOS community, this is the place for you to go. It's called Jailbreak Con. And basically, a couple of days ago, they were trying to decide where they should host the Jailbreak Con of 2012, which will be held this summer. And there was... there were 4 options. There was Texas, California, New York, and I forgot what the 4th one was. But it turns out that it will be held in California. And the way they decided is that the first state that got to 1,000 votes would be the one that would be the host of the Migrate Fest Jailbreak Con, which is a big event for jailbreakers and people in the iOS community. So yes, California is the winning state. So it will be held in California. They don't know exactly where, but if you do live in California, possibly around, I don't know, a San Francisco area or Los Angeles, probably, that's where I'm assuming they'd hold it, somewhere around there, then you are in luck. If you really like jailbreak and you really like iOS devices, maybe you could make it possible to find your way down to Jailbreak Con 2012. I wish I could go, but I don't live anywhere near there. It's completely on the opposite side of the country. I live in Indiana, which is a boring little corn state, and they have nothing to do. It's really boring. We have I don't even know what we have in our town. We have nothing fun in our town to do. Anyway, if you live in San Francisco or Los Angeles, be looking for Jailbreak Con 2012 if you're interested in that, and please feel free to notify me if you actually get to go, because that should be pretty cool. Now, one of the more interesting things I want to go ahead and talk about in iOS Nova podcast number 13 is the way Samsung's behavior has been lately with Apple. At first, for the last couple of weeks, I thought, I'm starting to think that Samsung and Apple have slowly started to settle down, and they've decided to, stop suing each other as much. And it seemed to have been backing out. It wasn't that big of a deal anymore. It was just slowly calming down. Then all of a sudden, in the last couple of days, we are starting to see things that are just pathetic on Samsung's behalf. I must say that, because the things that I am seeing and the things that I wrote about are just pathetic. For example, first thing is the new Samsung Galaxy S2. Like, what is that called? There's like a super long name to it. It's like the Samsung Galaxy S2 Epic 4G or something like that. It's got a huge long name. It's nothing like the iPhone. Samsung Galaxy 2, whatever, Epic, something. I don't even know. A really long name. Unless I'm thinking of a different phone. I don't know a lot about Samsung phones. Whatever, Samsung Galaxy S2, Epic 4G, I think that's what it's called. Anyway, that new phone came out, and it was like, everybody thought, wow, this is going to be a really cool phone. And it was kind of a cool phone. I'm going to admit that. I still think the iPhone's better. I still think that the majority of people do think that the iPhone's better. But surprisingly, when one individual opened up the package, looked at the charger, he found his way to compare it to an older, not too old, but an older Apple charger for its mobile devices. And when you look at them, if you go to iOSNOVA.com, as of now, when you're listening to this podcast at first, if you're listening to it within the first couple of days, it'll probably still be up on the homepage. The chargers, the pictures of the two chargers look exactly alike. Now, Apple's is a white charger, and Samsung's is black, and it has a little bit of information on the bottom, and it also says Samsung on it. But other than that, they're pretty much the same exact charger, and I don't know what Samsung is doing. It's like they're trying to tick off Apple, and if you don't understand that, wait until I tell you this. Apple logos were found all over the backdrop of an Apple or a Samsung store. Now, that's just stupid. Now, I'm not talking the Apple logo itself. I'm talking App Store Apple logos. Now, when you see the App Store logo, you only see the App Store application logo on Apple devices, iPhone, iPod Touch, iPad, in Apple stores, on Apple commercials. But you never see them in other stores. Why the heck would you see an App Store icon in a Samsung store? On top of that, I believe there is also a Safari icon. Samsung has nothing to do with Safari or the App Store as far as we know. So what they're either trying to do here is have what I would call the brother-brother relationship, because I have 3 brothers and they're all as annoying as heck, as most siblings would say about their other siblings. And in this case, the reason why I call it a brother-brother relationship is because when one brother gets in trouble and the other brother, in someone else's case, I'm not even going to say my brother's name, tries to get them in trouble even more, or tries to get them in trouble overall, the other brother will try to get revenge by getting the other one in trouble. That's kind of like the way I look at Samsung and Apple, which, if it doesn't make sense, what I mean is, they sued each other for a while, yet they're still working with each other, which is kind of weird. It's something that big companies have to do, I expect. I don't know. But you have Samsung now, and they're like, wow, the suing has settled down. Maybe, just maybe, we should try to tick off Apple by putting App Store logos all over our application wall on the backdrop of a Samsung store. And then on top of that, we'll also copy their charger. How about that one? So it's almost like Samsung is saying, hey, Apple, look at us. We're copying your charger. And even more noticeably, we're putting App Store logos and Safari logos next to all of our applications on our Samsung devices. And now I'm most expecting that that's what they're doing. I don't know why the heck they would even do that, though, because they should know that. I mean, they know that the iPhone is the most popular smartphone, but what they're trying to do is something that nobody really knows. They're putting App Store logos in the backdrop of a Samsung store. How does that even make sense? Buy a whole bunch of Samsung phones, by the way. They're copying their charger. They're copying a whole bunch. I would call them the official copycat copycats. What am I saying here? Copycats of Apple. Samsung, the official copycats of Apple. That's what I would call them. And it's just so dumb because they decided to sue Apple because they said, hey, Apple's copying our phones. Well, forget them. Screw them, because you know what's happening here? They're copying the chargers, extremely noticeable, and they're putting their App Store logos inside of their own store, Samsung store, keep in mind. And it's just so dumb, because what I'm wondering is if Apple doesn't sue them, there's something going on in the background of these two companies that we don't have a clue about. Because I know that if I were a company and I saw that this was a perfect exact match of a charger, and plus you had my logos all over your store, I would probably get mad, and if I had the money to, which Apple obviously does have the money to, I would sue the living crap out of the company for all this, because Samsung is its competitor, and on top of that, they have the money to do it, so why not? But it doesn't make sense, because my second thought is, what if the two companies are doing something in the background, which is unlikely, but it's a thought that not many people have even considered thinking about, and the majority of you listening probably have never thought about this. But what if Samsung and Apple were working in the background? I don't know why, but I find myself thinking this a lot. Since they have all these App Store icons all over the place, and they're copying their chargers and stuff, Samsung is obviously trying to be more like Apple. It's almost like, I don't know exactly why I would be saying this, but since they have App Store logos all over their store, it's almost like they're getting ready to put the App Store on Samsung phones. I don't even know why I have this thought. I just do have this thought. It's just a thought, but anything could happen with Samsung and Apple, because we have no clue what the heck they're doing right now. They're just suing the crap out of each other, and Samsung is constantly copying Apple. That's the fact of the matter. But I think this story is starting to get a little bit boring. Hopefully I've got it injected into your mind so you will never forget it. So I want to go ahead and move on to talking about a new product that I actually received a couple of days ago, and I've been testing it out for the last couple of days. I put it back in the box today to basically because I thought I'd have time to review it today, but I didn't. It'll probably be tomorrow or Monday, hopefully. And basically what it's called is, it's a product called the Magic Cube, and I doubt any of you guys have actually heard of this. Let me go ahead and take it out of its box. Wow. Anyway, basically what it is a little cube, and it looks like a very nice cube. When I first opened it up, I thought it was pretty cool. I was kind of not so impressed as I would have wished by the way it felt, because when I looked at it, I was like, whoa, it's all chrome, it's all metal, it looks like it's worth its money. And then I picked it up, and it's like all plastic, although it still does look good. And I want to go ahead and explain what it is. The Magic Cube is explained as, on the box, I'm going to go ahead and read the box right now. It says, projection keyboard and multi-touch mouse. Basically what it does is, on the very top, it has a series of lasers, and I do mean a lot of lasers, and they shine a projection mouse or a projection keyboard, and I've been using the projection keyboard with my iPad lately for the last couple of days. Basically what it does is it takes these lasers and it shines them on a surface, let's say my desk, and it'll be a very nice display of keyboard, very, very nice. In the center of it, there is a sensor for multi-touch, like just multi-touch gestures with the mouse and so on, which is pretty neat. I haven't exactly gotten to test that because I'm not exactly sure how to with the iPad. I think it's more so for the computer. Below that are two LED lights that just signify certain things, like whether it's connected through Bluetooth or how much power it has left. And then right underneath that, at the very bottom, there is a sensor. So basically when you lay the Magic Cube on the desk or a hard surface that you are wanting to use it on, it'll display the lasers and it'll have sensors at the bottom surface of the desk. So you can basically type on your desk without actually having to have a keyboard, and it's portable because it charges and everything. One of the craziest things about this product is how much it costs. Now, you see stuff like this every now and then that might cost like $20 because it's a little kid's toy and it really never works right and it's not as cool, or maybe it just doesn't work at all and it's maybe just for show or something like that. In this case, since the product works, and it works quite well, to be honest, I was very well impressed, I was looking at the price, and believe it or not, it costs $170. Did this product that I just explained to you sound like it costs $170? Unfortunately, fortunately, I should say, ThinkGeek sent me it for free. So thank you, thinkgeek.com. I really appreciate that. But I got this, and I was like, wow, this costs $170. And then I did my research on it and figured out that there's not a lot of products that actually do this. You might see laser keyboard products, but this one includes gestures. It does a lot of extra stuff. So the technology more so is an exclusive technology, I should say, and that's kind of why it costs $170, which is still pretty expensive for this product. But if the technology wasn't as exclusive, I assume that it could be sold for maybe $70 actually. So I mean, I don't know, it's a pretty cool product. You guys will have to wait to the review for me to actually give you a full preview, but I just wanted to go ahead and talk about it a little bit because it's a very interesting product. They call it a Magic Cube. Once again, thanks to thinkgeek.com for sending it out to me. I really do appreciate that. Let's just go ahead and move on to our next story. Now, the next story I want to talk about is basically about the success, more so on the lines of success of the iPhone. Now, we all know that the iPhone is pretty dang successful. In fact, it is very successful. Probably the most successful smartphone out there. But a very popular survey was conducted by UBS Research, which I honestly cannot tell you much about because I don't know much about them. But what I do know is that they do research, considering that their name is UBS Research. In this case, they did a survey, and like I said, it was very popular to find out the results of how many smartphone users plan to come back to their smartphone that they are currently using. So the smartphones were Apple, Samsung, HTC, RIM, Nokia, and then they also had another section which doesn't specify a lot about the smartphone. I just wanted to go ahead and narrow them down to Apple, Samsung, HTC, RIM, and Nokia. And it was so very surprising what the results of other smartphones were compared to the iPhone. You guys would not believe this. It turns out that 9 out of 10 iPhone users will never buy another brand of smartphone, meaning that they were so impressed by the iPhone and they love the iPhone so much, and it's just constantly addictive, and they just love the iPhone overall, that they just want to keep on buying generation after generation after generation. And like I said, that's 9 out of 10 of the users that use an iPhone. Now, if they did the same results on an iPod Touch, that would probably be similar, but they don't. Like in my case, I had every single generation of iPod Touch because I love iPod Touches. I don't have an iPhone yet, surprisingly. I want to get an iPhone 5 when it does come out. I plan to get one, actually. It just depends on whether or not my parents want to pay the monthly bill for an iPhone, which I hope they do. In this case, it's just amazing that 9 out of 10 of the users would go right back to the iPhone after every single generation, no matter what, for the most part. It's just one of those things I think Apple sticks to you a little bit. When you buy one of their products, you want to get another one of their products. When you become a Mac user, you oftentimes stay a Mac user. When you become an iPod Touch user, if you love the iPod Touch so much like I do, you oftentimes stay an iPod Touch user, or maybe an iPad user. When I bought the iPad, I really wasn't that impressed with any other tablets out there, to be honest. I mean, the Windows 8 tablet is a little bit impressive to me. Problem with the Windows 8 tablet is the fact that it's not coming out until next year. Do you have any idea how much technology changes and how fast it changes? Apple is changing technology, and then every other company is trying to beat Apple in the process. And when they release a tablet that looks really good, and it looks like it runs really good, Windows 8 Slate, which I personally think that Windows 8 looks a lot better and probably runs a lot better on a tablet rather than a computer. It looks like it's built for a tablet. The fact of the matter is, the tablet looks great. It runs great. If they were to release it right now, I feel like it would be an iPad competitor easily. One problem, it's coming out next year. I don't think it's going to stand a chance because of the fact that we're already going to have an iPad 3 next year. And shortly after that, months after that, when the Windows 8 slate is expected to be released, we will be seeing most likely an iPad 4. And when you have the world's leading tablet, the iPad, it's expected to grow if it maintains its awesomeness, which I very well think that Apple will easily do that. So I don't, you look at the Windows 8 slate, it looks cool, but it just doesn't stand a chance because it's coming out in a year. Years technology worth released now. They probably should be working a little bit faster. Because one of the things that Apple's good at is that they're fast at working very fast, or they're good at working very fast. Because when they announce a product, a couple of weeks later, they're ready to release that product. Unless it's something like iOS 5, they have to do beta after beta after beta. And you're probably asking why we have so much betas with iOS 5. My prediction would be the fact that we have iCloud to go along with it. With iOS 4, there weren't as many betas for the reason of the fact that we did not have iCloud as well. With iCloud, I think that they needed time to also test iCloud and see how that would work and make all the bugs go away in iCloud and so on. And I think that we're going to have maybe one or maybe even two more betas out before it actually releases. And the next thing I want to talk about, because we're talking about releases, is, of course, the iPhone 5 release. Very, very, very heavily rumored. It's constantly rumored, to be honest. There are constant flows of iPhone 5 or iPhone 4S rumors, rumor after rumor after rumor of when people think it'll be released. And, what everybody's shooting for right now is October 4th. I will be honest with you, I think that would be fairly accurate. I think that we're definitely going to be seeing an iPhone being announced, at least, in October. Why? Because, first off, they're very late. Second thing is, every single source, both famous and unfamous, is saying October, October, October. And they've been saying that for the last couple of months. The whole September thing has gone bye-bye. But why? Because it's September 24th right now. If they were going to host an event, they would have had the invitation out already. So my guess is that it's definitely going to be in October. We might see the invitation within the next couple of weeks. You never know. I'm thinking October 4th to mid-October, we're going to be seeing an announcement and possibly even a release-al within that mid-October range, which is something that the majority of you guys are looking forward to. That's what every popular and unpopular source, like I said, is looking forward to as well, and pointing towards. Problem with this is people don't know whether or not we're going to be seeing an iPhone 4S or an iPhone 5. We've been waiting so long that what I have to say is that I would be very, very disappointed if it turned out to be an iPhone 4S, which means that basically they were simple updates from the iPhone 4. Nothing too extreme, just maybe some performance improvements, just nothing like a new hardware design and stuff like that. I would be very, very mad at Apple for that because they have been taking so long. If they want to stay awesome with the iPhone, I recommend the fact that we better be seeing an iPhone 5 when it comes time for the next generation of iPhone to be released. Because then I think if we don't, people are going to be very disappointed, including me. And even then, I might not even be getting the iPhone, but I'd still be disappointed because I stay up with the news, I report on the news, and so on. So really, I mean, if you're looking for the next generation iPhone, I am 100% sure, or 99.9% sure, in case any of you odd people are out there, that you would be disappointed if you saw an iPhone 4S coming out in mid-October. So you know what I've decided to do right now? I wanted to take all of these rumors about the iPhone 5, and I wanted to settle just one of them for you. And this is the rumor of T-Mobile coming to the iPhone 5, which, weeks ago I've decided they're not going to come to the iPhone 5, but it wasn't exactly confirmed and nobody really knew for sure. Of course, Apple wasn't restricting T-Mobile to not say anything, so turns out T-Mobile actually did say something. So basically, T-Mobile had a town hall meeting that took place last night. Or last week, I apologize. T-Mobile's chief marketing officer, Cole Broadman, told their employees that the next generation of iPhone will not be coming to T-Mobile. So, when you have the chief marketing officer come out and say, the iPhone 5 or the iPhone 4S will not be coming to T-Mobile, it's kind of a confirmation to everybody out there that we will not be seeing an iPhone 5 on T-Mobile. Then again, the possibility of a Sprint iPhone 5 is very, very, very likely. It is extremely likely. No joke. I think that we're definitely going to be seeing a Sprint iPhone 5, and I want you all to keep in mind that Sprint still has its unlimited plan. Now, I'm not exactly sure how long that unlimited plan will be around, but if it stays around for when it joins the iPhone 5, they will have a chance, my guess, because so many people don't want to be limited if they're in the top 5%. And if they have the 5% of the iPhone users or the unlimited plan users scramble over to Sprint, that's something that they might do very well, because Sprint, like I said, still has their unlimited plan. And, T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, they start limiting it. If you're in the top 5%, they start to slow it down. They have all of these horrible, horrible things that they do. And in all reality, if Sprint does come to the iPhone 5, and it would be extremely smart for them to stay having that unlimited plan, because I think it's one of their big features. It's probably their biggest feature, that they still have the unlimited plan compared to many other network providers like T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon. Now keep in mind, they still have unlimited plan for some people out there, but I mean, what is it with AT&T and Verizon? I don't even think you can join the unlimited plan anymore. What did they do? Like, completely cancel that unless you were already previously on the unlimited plan. And with Sprint, you can join first time, become a Sprint user on an unlimited plan, and be able to know that you can have that unlimited plan. And, if I get an iPhone 5, I am pretty much 100% sure that I would go with Sprint if they decided to come to the iPhone 5. Why, you may ask? Why? Because the stuff that I just mentioned. I would want a full unlimited plan, because if I got an iPhone, I would make sure I got the unlimited plan. And if I got the unlimited plan, I would not want to be rated in the top 5 users, being limited to my usage of their data. If I'm paying for an unlimited plan, I want it to be truly unlimited. Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, they don't allow you to do that. Sprint still does. That's one of the key things. Now, do I think Sprint will someday join Verizon and AT&T? I think so, because it's something, data costs money. And if you're not taking in as much money as you want to compared to what you're giving through data, then you start having to, kind of limit users' data, which is unfortunate. But I guess, it's like a pack of Doritos. You get a little bag of Doritos, the miniature sizes, and 5 years ago you used to get like Doritos stacked upon Dorito over and over again, and the whole bag would be stuffed full of Doritos. Today, if you take one of those miniature bag of Doritos and open them up, you see 4 or 5 Dorito chips. That's kind of, it's just so dumb. It's a dumb comparison, I should say. But when you have these mobile networks like T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, they're taking the same, it's like chips taking the same size bag but putting less into it. They have the same name to it, unlimited plan, but when you get it, or when you already have it, they limit it to a certain extent, in this case, for the top 5% of data users. And that sucks about food. Come on. The double stuffed Oreo now is like the regular Oreo 5 years ago. And the regular Oreo now was unheard of because it barely has any frosting in it. You almost have to get that double stuffed Oreo, because if you want frosting, you have to be able to have that. They should come out with a triple stuffed Oreo just so we can have enough frosting. It's kind of dumb. Anyway, that has nothing to do with iOS devices. You guys get what I'm saying with those networks, though. I don't think T-Mobile's coming. T-Mobile's, their marketing officer, Cole Broadman, said that they would not be coming to the iPhone. So obviously they're not going to be coming to the iPhone because that person can't lie. And if they did, we would have already caught on to that by now. Now, Sprint, on the other hand, there's been a number of things pointing towards the fact that they will be coming to the iPhone 5. It's not confirmed, but I would like to say that they are going to be coming to the iPhone 5. But like I said, don't get your hopes up too extremely because it may not even be an iPhone 5. In this case, let's talk about the thoughts of it possibly being an iPhone 4S. Did you know that iPhone 4S cases are showing up in popular retailers? Now, usually the smaller retailers are the ones who go out there and they make cases that are actually found out and displayed before the iPhone 4S or the iPhone 5 in this case would come out. Now, the majority of cases that we're seeing now are iPhone 5 cases. iPhone 5 case after iPhone 5 case after iPhone 5 case. We've seen the wide majority of those cases, as we do with most prototypes. But since the iPhone 5 has more time to sit around and have people make up rumors about it since it's so late, I think a lot more people are looking forward to the iPhone 5. And if Apple lets us down with an iPhone 4S, then that will be a bad thing for Apple, unfortunately. And, there's still rumors about an iPhone 4S. And like I was saying, cases are showing up in popular companies. In this case, otterbox has said... Now, otterbox, the company, hasn't came out and said, we are developing iPhone 4S cases. But somebody, an anonymous person, said that what they basically did is they displayed a series of pictures. And I put 2 up on my website if you guys want to check them out, of a box from otterbox, which is a legitimate box. It has all the information on it. It has their website on it. It most likely is a real otterbox box. And it says the commenter series, which they do have that series at otterbox.com if you check it out, and then it says iPhone 4S. Now, iPhone is in bold, and then it has 4S, which I don't know why. Maybe they want to change that. Who knows? But basically, it looks like a case that is built for an iPhone 4, except the volume buttons are a little bit different. It appears as though maybe, just maybe, it'll have thinner at the front. Who knows? From me personally, just looking at it, I can see that the volume buttons do look different. It looks a little bit thinner. You really can't tell a whole lot from the box of the case itself. It doesn't actually show the otterbox case that they have developed, but he did put pictures up of what was claiming to be an iPhone 4S otterbox case. And otterbox is a very popular case company, so they're thinking that, hey, you know what? Maybe we're going to be seeing an iPhone 4S, so we're going to go ahead and put iPhone 4S cases in production. And the reason why sites do that, or companies do that make these cases and accessories, is because if they're the first ones out, they're going to get the most people buying their stuff. Because geeks like you and me, most likely, and many other people all across the world who like the iPhone are going to be sitting there saying, all right, the iPhone 5, it's coming out tomorrow, for example, and they will rush out, they'll get the iPhone, and if you're like me, you like to buy a handful of accessories, or at least get a handful of accessories for that device. When I buy an iPod Touch, when I bought my iPod Touch 4th generation, I wanted some accessories, so I went out and I bought some accessories, like I did with my iPad 2 as well. It's a great way to start off a new device. When the iPhone 4S or the iPhone 5 comes out, whichever one, many people are going to go out and buy it. More people, I'm assuming, that if it's an iPhone 5, and they might be looking for some accessories. And the only people with accessories are going to be the people who already put cases into production, assuming that from all the rumors, it would be this phone. They make cases based on rumors, and they study those rumors and see which ones are most popular to design a case that will hopefully fit the next generation of iPhone. And if it does, they are in extreme luck. And if it doesn't, they're out of a lot of money. Either way, it's like gambling. You either make a lot of money or you make no money and you actually lose money. And that's kind of something that otterbox can take because they are a very popular case company. It's kind of like Griffin. If Griffin might be working on an iPhone 5 case already or an iPhone 4S case, maybe they even have insider information from Apple. Nobody really knows. But fact of the matter is, otterbox is a pretty popular case company, and they're making iPhone 4S cases according to these pictures. Not exactly confirmed, keep in mind, but it looks like a legitimate box if you check it out on iOSNOVA.com. I think that was the majority of news that I actually wanted to go ahead and cover on iOSNOVA.com, iOS community this week. Like I said, it's currently September 24th. This is iOS Nova podcast number 13. You know, there was probably the most interesting thing about iOS community this week was the way Samsung's behavior has been about Apple and the way that they're copying Apple. It's so very, very noticeable. I have not found it very noticeable at all that Apple was ever copying Samsung when Samsung tried to sue Apple for copying them. I did not notice that. I did not think it happened. I noticed that they were suing each other, but I didn't notice why they would be suing them. It was just pathetic. It was dumb. Then again, you know, Samsung comes out with a charger that looks exactly like the charger of an iPhone or iPod Touch or iPad, any of their mobile devices. And then they also put Apple App Store logos in the backdrop of their store. That was kind of dumb on Samsung's behalf. So to end the show, another little update. Like I said, Twitter, Facebook, wonderful places to follow me. Facebook is more so on the lines of to receive simple notifications about new articles that are posted. I post pictures up there as well as I do that on Twitter over new products that I received or new things I'll be featuring in future videos or on iOSNOVA.com. I put up new videos up there, and occasionally I'll put up some random update that I want to alert you guys over on my Facebook page. And the most interaction that you're probably going to get due for updates is Twitter. I tweet a lot. I put a lot of tweets up on my Twitter account. You guys can check that out in the description below if you're interested in following me. 367 of you are already doing so thank you if you are following me to Twitter. Very dedicated viewers. I really appreciate that. Also, iOSNOVA.com. Like I said, remember that application that I mentioned in the beginning of the podcast? It's been a long time. You guys can check that out in the description below. It's available for web already and for the App Store, iPhone, iPod Touch, iPad, Android, all that good stuff, or just App Store. That's the good stuff. That will be available hopefully within the next couple of weeks at least. And if you follow me on Twitter and Facebook, you will be alerted of it first. I usually tweet about every single little thing. So if you're interested in knowing every single little thing, you guys can check that out, Facebook and Twitter in the description below. Like I said, stay up to date with all the iOS news that's been taking place in the iOS community on iOSNOVA.com. That's very much appreciated. You guys can head on over to iOSNOVA.com. Scroll down on the right-hand side of the page here. It's going to say sign up to be subscribed to iOS Nova. Right now, I only have 15 subscribers because I haven't really mentioned it. And really, it's more convenient. Just type in iOSNOVA.com, and it basically what it does is it sends you an email when a new article's up. Easier way to stay up to date, like I said, it's Twitter, it's Facebook, very common places for you to be. I leave myself logged into Facebook and Twitter all day, even when I'm at school. So if you guys leave yourself logged into Facebook, maybe you want to stay up with iOS news, follow my Facebook page. Maybe Twitter, follow my Twitter page. Like I said, I also do have that web browser application and mobile applications coming in the near future. Once again, thank you for listening to iOS Nova podcast number 13. It is currently September 24th, 2011, and this was iOS Nova podcast.